And we are live with our second workshop of the day. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming over and joining us. And of course, as I promised, more fabulous people to take you through the art of the villain. We have the amazing Alina Pete. Alina, how are you doing today? Oh, you are muted, Lipian.
Ah, there we go. Perfect. I have parrots, and they were just having a little meltdown, so I didn't want that on camera.
Small parrot chat. How are you doing, Alina, apart from the parrots?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. Where are you calling in from today?
I'm calling in from Surrey, BC, up here in Canada.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah, it's actually quite lovely here today.
Fantastic. Gorgeous Canada with parrots. I'm here for it. And of course, no stranger to the World Building Con stage, we have the fabulous Tracy Hickman. Tracy, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you. I think World Building Strange is probably very appropriate, actually.
Yes, we have been creating some strange things, perhaps, in our first session. Some of you who joined us know that Tracy was along in the chat offering suggestions and sage advice, and I cannot wait to see what his thoughts are on villains for our piece. So just to explain, already we have created our setting. We created a setting that was high fantasy. We created a setting with some unusual things going on. Arcane magic is new, pretty unusual for D&D, where it tends to be very established. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that. We've created the threat of eldritch incursions, which are only just starting. And we have some very interesting spaces, including, most importantly for us today, our starting location. This is where our first adventure is going to take place. It's a village called Mobot. It's up in the mountains. And it has banned arcane magic. And even more, around somewhere, there are remote cave system with a laboratory there of ancient information that might help us unlock what's going on. So, before we get too deep, let us crack open our template. So folks, you should have access to this template. If you don't, shout out in the chat and my incredible beans will help me, or will help you, I should say, make sure that you have what you need. This is our creating a villain template. And it will follow on from the setting you've created. It will link in the setting you've already created and help you build a villain worthy of that setting. So let's scroll down and kick off with a question I know Tracy is going to have a lot to say about already.
Oh, yeah.
Is the villain's evil or selfish goal? Tracy, I know I got your email. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on this. Go for it.
I want to strike the word evil.
Yeah.
Because evil is a word that we use about someone else.
Yeah.
We call other people evil, but we are never evil ourselves. Our motivations, even the darkest and worst of villains, believes themselves to be correct, believes themselves to be right. They may not necessarily feel that they're good, but they certainly believe that they are right in what they do.
Yes, and I would also say justified in some way.
Absolutely justified.
And it's that conviction that makes them dangerous.
Absolutely. And that's true in story, and it's true in the world as well. Mm-hmm. It is that conviction of righteousness, that conviction of rightness and justice, internal justice, that drives a villain, gives motivation to the villain. Strahd von Zarovich is a fine example of that. He sees himself as the victim. He sees himself as the one who is being unjustly cursed. And everything that he does, we all interpret as evil, but everything that he does comes from that motivation of justice and rightness of his cause.
Yes, absolutely. I will share at this point, there are an awful lot of good good and righteous puns because we have
Amazing.
established that goo is a part of this world. So that's why that's going on if you're just joining us. And also points for the puns, points for all of you. Congratulations. Thank you for bringing it.
I'd also like to suggest, just as an idea that I had as we were going through the world creation, that maybe everyone in this world is in some sense evil. Because it might well be that in the ancient past that we do not know and do not remember, we were the invaders of this world. And that we were the ones who pushed the Eldritch out of a place that they actually owned and lived in.
Oh, that's interesting.
And
very interesting.
So like a past where there was, demons, for lack of a better word, demons and humans cohabitated, and then humanity wielded powers, maybe arcane powers, to force them outside the world, and they want back because it is their world.
Right. That is why they are trying to come back and trying to fight their way back into the world that we banished them from.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one of the nice things in world building is the ability. A nice shortcut in world building is to be able to take something from our own historical past and then apply it to new worlds.
Yes.
And we can look at the European invasion of the Americas.
Yes.
That pushed out the indigenous and made small indigenous peoples here. And then for some reason now is proclaiming it as they own it because they've always been here. Yeah, is a nice model in terms of what we could do in this world.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're starting to flesh things out a little bit here, and that I want to talk about the second question before we get back to the first one, and that's why do they want to achieve that? So obviously, when I first read these, the world that you had created with the Eldritch horrors from beyond, like if you're doing a Cthulhu style game or sort of an Eldritch horror, the bad guys are not necessarily the Eldritch horrors, but the cultists and people who are trying to bring them into this world to change things fundamentally. So I think we need to decide, do we want the Eldritch horrors to be the villain, or are we having somebody who's working on this side of the veil who wants to bring them through for some reason?
I would like to propose, if I may, distilling what you've shared, that our villain is on the side of the Eldritch horrors, and it's only going to be clear later that he was completely justified. It won't be clear necessarily at the end of this adventure, but it may be clear at the end of 5 adventures that he is completely justified. And I think that will be a pivotal late campaign reveal. So one of the things that you will notice, guys, when we open the adventure template tomorrow is that adventure template can be nested. So you can use multiple small adventures to create a big adventure arc. And you can create multiple big adventure arcs into a campaign size arc because it just goes fractally downwards. So what we're doing is we're thinking, what's going to be interesting for this adventure? A guy is trying to bring the Eldritch horrors in. Bad guy, very evil. But then 5 adventures from now, we're going to find out that actually he really had a point. And I think that is an interesting way to build the adventure, build the villain, and build the world, the villain, as it were.
One of the concepts that we dealt with in our own recent role-playing game was to ban the idea of good or evil in terms of alignment. What we used instead was benevolent and malevolent. And benevolent is outward reaching, it's giving, it's inclusive. Malevolent was exclusive, was fractionalizing, and dealt more in terms of justice than in terms of mercy, which was more of a benevolent idea.
Right.
So when we're looking at these, then when we're talking about what is the villain's selfish goal, they want the Eldritch to come back, and they believe that the Eldritch have been unjustly dealt with.
Yeah.
Right.
I would like to add an additional goal, because we know that arcane magic is new. We know that arcane magic is coming from the other side. I would like to make this guy a warlock of one of the arcane forces on the other side. And I think that that makes his knowledge then very believable. That gives him power. It gives him agency. It gives him a connection to these things. And it makes him untrustworthy and an interesting figure when the tables turn.
Yeah, it also means that it can be whispering into his ear.
Exactly.
And he doesn't necessarily have to agree with it 100%, but it's enough that he's on that path, that he's committed.
But then he has this sort of prophet feeling to him.
Yeah.
Where he says
absolutely
he's getting knowledge from beyond. He's guided beyond himself. This is also to a certain extent kind of a cop-out for him. It allows him to not take responsibility for the things that he does.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about this particular town, however, we've said that in the town it is banned Eldritch.
Yes.
And they go off. We don't know where they go. I would like to suggest that, in fact, that our villain may be in charge of the town. Ooh. And that this whole idea of Eldritch magic is being banned is just his way of gathering Eldritch capable people to himself. They're being shipped off, but they're being shipped off to these caves.
So maybe he's sort of siphoning off the power from them.
Exactly, organizing them, bringing their force together in a more cohesive way.
Do we think he's doing that Oh yeah, go ahead, Alina, please.
I was going to say, so here's where I want to pose a question. There's two different ways that I like to build villains. Either they're in opposition to our heroes. Whatever they believe is in direct opposition to what the heroes are trying to achieve. So, that's your classic. This guy is trying to blow up the world. The heroes want to stop the world from being blown up. That's a very straightforward one. But the one that I find far more compelling in fiction is one where the villain has a very similar goal to the heroes, but they want to do it in a way that is not right. So in this case, I feel like the heroes are going to have some of this Eldritch, or maybe not Eldritch power, but arcane power. There's certainly going to be arcane casters, at least one in the group, to kind of keep it interesting. So they're already starting off being oppressed by whoever's running this town and wants to keep the new sort of arcane magic from coming out. Do we want them to be in opposition to like a town level threat, or is the town level threat like a minor villain who's just trying to oppress the people and keep all the scary arcane magic down? But the real villain is lurking in the towns, not the crypts, but the caves where the guardians are.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. We could do it either way. Let's start. So they're trying to achieve this. Let's dig into the plan a bit more, because I think that will help us solidify things. They want to siphon off the power from the arcane users. Is that what we're thinking? The arcane users that they're gathering up.
Well, they want to gather the arcane users together.
So they want to enlist them.
Organize. They want to enlist them and organize them quietly, secretly. Yeah.
So he's enlisting the arcane users.
And what is the relationship?
Yes.
What is the relationship between the Eldritch and the arcane? Because it's sounding to me a little bit like the arcane is like a lens for the Eldritch.
Yes, essentially.
You can amplify it.
The world that we built, this arcane magic has started to come into the world because of the influence of the Eldritch power. So they are in fact the same thing. It may manifest differently in different people, in different spells, in different ways. And I think that would be interesting. But there has always been divine magic. The arcane is new. So these arcane magic users probably don't know that they are related to the Eldritch, but they are.
It might be. We could go a number of different ways with this character. We could have like the mayor or burgomaster of the town as kind of a dupe and a pawn. In which case we could set up our villain as kind of a nobleman. That is he's a landowner and he owns it. Maybe he's a lot of small villages in this area and has influence in a lot of these areas, and is using these minor functionaries in these smaller towns that are around there to go ahead and find for him the army that he needs to build, the force that he needs to build. He would probably be aware of this this ancient laboratory and have been there, visited there, gotten direction that is there.
Okay, so maybe there's a tear there, some sort of. He's been working to widen this tear to the Eldritch side, and maybe there is a pool of goo there that he can use to transform arcane users to sort of enhance their lens-like abilities. And the more of those he has, the more holes he can tear in reality to try to bring the Eldritch in from the other side.
I really like where we're going with this because it's becoming very tangible. So we have the ancient laboratory, which we're tying in, which is a very hard word to spell. Yeah, that's close enough. Well, painfully dyslexic. Sorry, guys. There's an ancient laboratory. This is going to be an amazing final location, showdown space, by the way, when we build our dungeon. I think that's where it's all going to go down at the end. So that's where he's bringing the arcane users. I like the idea that there's something he's doing to enhance them. Maybe even he makes them slightly monstrous, transforms them somehow. It's not necessarily all nice. He is the villain. So we can make some of the things that he's doing seem horrific, even if he's doing them for good reasons. Actually, that's the hallmark of a great villain, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I like that too, because that means that we can build him up as almost a sympathetic character at first, because if the town level villain is the one banning arcane users, and he's a sympathetic force to be like, actually, no, I like arcane users. They should all come to my manor for mysterious reasons. And maybe they don't always leave again.
Perhaps he is, because we established this. Where are we? Yes, here we are. There is an arcanist cult led by a reactionary. So perhaps he is harboring arcane users. And he's the reactionary. In fact, he is the person who's harboring them because he wants to use them.
He sees himself as kind of a Zorro character. Fighting the unrighteous repression of, and in fact, he looks initially like a very sympathetic character. His interactions with our heroes is initially going to be very sympathetic, and and as he will need to grow in power as things progress. And to a certain extent, he has to grow in power faster than the heroes can keep up with him.
Jumping back to the evil Zorro thing, which is just a great template to put a character onto. We could have the sort of thing where it seems at first as though he's two different people. He's his nobleman, sympathetic fop aspect, and then there's a dark, mysterious, cloaked figure out there as well, who's trying to recruit arcanists, but they're actually the same guy.
So I like the idea that on the front he's the nobleman fop, on the back he's leading the arcanist cult. So and then we discover there's level 3, which is he's leading the arcanist cult for dark reasons. So when you first meet him, he just seems like a nobleman, a little bit useless, a little bit the British among me will understand Boris Johnson, but
Percival Blakeney for that matter.
And he might even offer them the hero's aid, where it's like, oh, I have this old library and I'm no good at books, but maybe you can come look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And he'll be listening and seeing what they're discovering if he needs them for some reason. Okay, I love this. So we're setting up something really compelling, and we talked briefly about a deadline. Now, you don't always have to include a deadline in every adventure. It is something that helps create a ticking clock. It's also something you can bring in halfway through.
Well, so the ticking clock is in the world, isn't it? I mean, these incursions are starting to take place.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I would say that's a very long, that's a campaign level ticking clock. One for an adventure might be the tear has gotten to the go no go place where if he doesn't move soon, it's going to collapse in on itself or it's going to open. So I think that could be a nice.
He needs to sacrifice a bunch of arcane users.
Yes, he needs to send them through the transformation that we talked about. Yes. So that essentially is our deadline. So go ahead, Lina.
Trying to do something that the heroes might actually like. They want to bring more arcane magic into the world. Maybe they've even found out little clues about the fact that the creatures on the other side of the Terror are actually not terrible or are from here.
Yeah. I would leave that for later. We're thinking about a starting adventure here, but I think there would definitely be things they couldn't explain. And
it's good to put those foundations in now.
Yes.
Yeah, a little
foreshadowing, so that when we get there, it was always there.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're seeding all the way through. These are benign. These are not necessarily evil, or they're not benign to us because they're not benign to the players because they're angry, which is quite reasonable. But yeah, they have a point.
We haven't really explored the Eldritch on the other side. We don't know what their thought processes are. We don't even know if they even mirror our thought processes. And they may think in ways that are completely alien to the way we would make an argument, for example. But it makes sense to them, and it makes sense to our villain, who is very much tied in with them.
Yeah, it makes sense that they're not completely benign to humans, because there was a reason for the ancestral elves or guardians to have put up the veil between the worlds, to have pushed them to the other side. I'm seeing almost like a Princess Mononoke-ish, like the Nightwalker, something that's inherently alien, and it is part of this world and of life. But if you touch it, you'll be cursed and you'll die. So something sort of benevolent and malevolent all at the same time.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Okay, I love this. This is all going interesting places. Let's make some basic villain details. So we know that they are a warlock, that we know. And we've said the word nobleman many times, so I think we're dealing potentially with a male character this time. Doesn't have to be, but we're going to have a male one this time.
For story purposes, they have to be fairly benign.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sympathetic.
How do we feel about a gnome?
Interesting.
Eldritch warlock gnome.
He's just a little guy.
Just a little guy. Just
a little guy. He's not dangerous.
No, just helping,
Sure, I think we could go with that.
I like that. So we did establish in our previous session that this is a world where there are no more elves, but there are the other common D&D fantasy species that we're dealing with, and otter people. Otter people were very important. So there are also otter people, but not really up in the mountains. They're more in the swamp area.
I'm wondering if there isn't a certain transformational aspect for this character, that we've already talked about transformation in terms of our arcane followers being transformed into monstrous form. This particular character may have a certain ability then, in terms of being a warlock, to either transform into other forms or possessing other forms, which I
like that
as a
lot.
warlock would be far more frightening, I think, as a character.
That also lets us keep the Zorro thing, because if the foppish guy is a little gnome and the evil cloaked figure is like a tall, maybe elvish shadow, then the players aren't necessarily going to think right away that it's the same person.
And nobody can agree on what he actually looks like. This tall cloaked figure. To some people he's like 6 feet tall. To other people he's more like 5 feet tall, or others think he's like 8 feet tall. He may be all of those things depending on the possession
some people describe horns. Some have like wolf-like features.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it plays on their nightmares, so it looks like the thing they are most afraid of.
Yes.
Very nice. Yes, I like that a lot. So
I'm adding this already in special abilities. I'm skipping forward because I wanted to make sure that we're capturing that. Indeterminate creature of shadow looks like the perceiver's
worst nightmare.
Yes, which is just very D&D, and also we said vivid. So I like that there is that kind of like slight, like vivid, larger than lifeness aspect, literally, to this. It fits in very well with our core world goals. So it looks like Perceiver's worst nightmares. Should we find a name for this character? What do we think?
Well, he's a gnome.
Yeah.
right? But he's
we
a
need a very foppish
noble
name.
gnome.
Yeah.
And this is, as if I remember right, this is in the mountainous region, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, it is in the mountain. It is in the mountainous region.
Now, we haven't established any. We don't have to use D&D naming traditions. He doesn't have to be called, Trumblefaller or something. He can be called whatever we like. But I do like the idea that it starts with Sir.
Yes. It needs a little foppish flair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it needs to sound light.
Farthington or glitter something.
So Atherley Farthington Bumblestay. Do we like it?
Good.
What do
I
we
like
change
that.
about it?
No, I think that's good.
That's not a bad guy name. That's a very this guy's kind of an idiot.
I went to British boarding school. There were a lot of people called things like that there.
Yes.
It was interesting times.
Do they call him, I don't know, the Shadow,
Oh, right. We need an alter ego name.
Yeah.
What about the Ghast?
Ooh, the Ghast. That's very strong. Nice. Yes.
I've broken my template. All right. We're going to call him the Ghast when Adobe has recovered. The template's too powerful. My naming tradition is too powerful. So we have a good understanding of. I'm going to bring us back here. I'm going to restart the template because she died. She died, guys. Having the live stream.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Did you know, by the way, that someone once called me the vice president of evil?
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Flatteringly? Question mark?
Well, they said that I made really great villains, and so they called me the vice president of evil. Okay. My response, of course, was, "Who's the president, and what do I have to do?"
I like it. All right, I have recovered. I think. Hey, there we go.
There we go.
So we have the Ghast.
Excellent.
He has been named. In fact, I'm going to just give this a wee refresh to make sure that is where it should be. And the next thing that we're going to do is talk about their personality. What do they like? Are they quick to anger? Are they patient and calculating? But do they prefer the limelight or the shadows? Now, in this case, we're not just talking about how they appear. We're talking about their true self, because this is going to define their tactics. It's going to define how they act. So who do we think this person is? What are our thoughts?
In terms of
their personality,
their personality, and we're talking again about who they truly are. We're talking about the personality of the Ghast.
Yeah,
really, yeah. If we think that's the true self, then absolutely.
Well, the Ghast
is someone very clever and calculating.
Mm-hmm.
Intriguing. I like the idea that they're very calculating. Do we think they like the limelight, or do we think that they hide from the limelight?
I think that they like the limelight. They like the danger of it. They like the adventure of it.
Yes.
I love that.
So they were a noble growing up in a very boring sort of household, and they had to invent ways to keep their mind busy. Maybe one of them was the library, and maybe they had an old book collection that they poured through obsessively until they could actually hear it inside their mind.
So he's extremely learned.
Yes.
He's extremely well read. He knows their history and to a certain extent has rejected it.
Yeah.
He believes that he has come to believe that history is all a fiction.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of is.
And it kind of is. It's written by the winners, and he is recognized, especially through the lens of this arcane knowledge that he has, that this whole mortal construct that they have filled libraries with is just a lie justifying why they are in charge of this place.
Interesting.
An empire built on the imprisoning of whatever these creatures are beyond the veil. Maybe they were a fundamental part of the earth before, sort of like the earth's heart that's been locked away.
Yes, very much so. And maybe for that matter, there are old folklore for the gnomes that tie them in some ways with the Eldritch in the ancient past.
Yes.
I love that idea. Folks, give me one moment. I am going to do something that may disrupt the stream, and I want to make sure nobody says anything interesting while I do this. Let's see. In 3, in 2, in 1, over the portal.
Huh.
I was going to hold really still just to freak everybody out and think it was broken.
Are we still here? Is everybody still here?
We're still here.
Okay, amazing. Incredible. In which case, I'm going to have another go at the screen share. It doesn't want to work. I'm sorry about this, guys.
Oh, no.
The joy of technical issues when you're doing a live stream. That's what we're looking at here. I actually have a secret weapon in the background. Kat, I wonder if you might try and share the template and see if we could see that again, because it's not playing ball where I am. And otherwise, folks, I know you have the template at home, and we will figure something out. So we just the laughing in the chat. Yeah, guys, this is the joy of doing live streamed events. You know, sometimes things go wrong. So we're talking about their personality. We're saying they are patient and calculating and incredibly intelligent. I'm already feeling sorry for our players, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Well, the challenge is going to be for the DM and the game master trying to be really that intelligent.
Yes, absolutely. And again, that is where preparation is your friend, because that's where you do foreshadowing, and it makes you seem like you're intelligent in hindsight. And you just hope the players don't have a really, really good idea. Or you do, and you roll with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So patient, calculating, extremely intelligent. We said they enjoy the limelight, so there might be a bit of a showman. Like
yes,
a little
very
bit of
much
flair. So. Yeah.
That would actually show through in the gnome's incarnation. That his character would be very flashy, and he would be very well dressed. Always very well dressed.
Yeah, very well put together. Do you think he might be? Oh, look at Kat making it happen for us.
There we are.
So, folks, I am going to continue filling in the template, but in the meantime, Kat, we are on page 4 right now, if you could take us there. And thank you so much for doing the screen share. I appreciate it so much. What I think one of their flaws might be that they're a little bit overconfident and like to show off. What do we think?
Yes.
Being so intelligent, they probably haven't met many people as smart as they are. And I think that might be where things start to come a cropper, because they like to drop hints, assuming that nobody is smart enough to get them, and maybe that's when the players will actually start.
There's a little Bond villain in that. This is the sort of villain that would monologue as he's got you strapped to the death machine as it ticks down to 0.
Yes. So essentially, what we have a villain who is can't resist showing off,
likes to play with their prey.
Yes.
Can't resist showing off their intellect, and likes to play with their prey. Yeah.
Oh, a little Moriarty. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think likes to feel superior.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, does feel superior.
I mean, they are superior.
They are, after all. Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be their very interesting downfall. So, what do they fear, and why? Fear is something that can really drive villain actions. It's something that can be very interesting. So it's a good thing to imbue your villains with a little fear. It gives you levers to pull as a game master.
Failure.
Yeah.
I think that this character fears more than anything else failure.
Yeah. I also think maybe, they have this connection to this incredibly powerful thing. They feel themselves very important. I wonder if they fear obscurity.
That's an interesting idea, that they are trying to make their mark in the world, that they are trying to be remembered after their death.
All right. So they fear failure, and they fear obscurity.
Well, and then to a sense that means they fear their own mortality.
Yeah.
So let's play with that. Maybe by accessing the Eldritch, maybe they've started a countdown within their own body, and they need to open this portal before that comes to pass, because they're the chosen one, obviously, by the Eldritch powers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's, I like the idea of the go, no go as a physical countdown, but I also like the idea that like it's their impatience and also a ticking clock on their own body in many ways. So they have.
Nice.
One of the things that I was thinking when we were talking about the physicality of this gnome versus this sort of creature of nightmare shadow is, wouldn't it be interesting? This is such a classic villain thing we could do. Wouldn't it be interesting if they had a glove that covered rising darkness coming from their fingertips or something?
Absolutely.
And that was a physical manifestation of this ticking time clock.
That also gives you as a DM the chance to have like somebody notice something, like a little darkness peeking out of their collar.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it ties in nicely with the fact that they are always very well dressed. They have these beautiful gloves that they always wear, and yet they are a person that hides. So the idea of that hiding, I think it's echoing.
My goodness, Sir Atherley, you're wearing an awful lot of makeup today, aren't you?
Right.
You see, now I'm imagining him in a Mozart wig, and I think that is not the vibe we're going for, but maybe. You may do this as you like. We haven't chosen a level for this demon, and I want to make them not too high, because this is supposed to be a starter villain, as it were, to quote John Scalzi. So something.
Oh yes, but I think that he needs to stick around here and grow along with the rest of us. So this is his origin story more than anything else. Okay, I like that. So he may be level 2, level 3, but he's somebody who's going to learn from his mistakes in the end of this adventure. Cool. Okay. Again, I don't know about you guys, but for me, when I am writing, balance is the last thing I put in. So I'll be like, he's about this, and this is the story, and then we get to the end, and I'm like, let's tune this up so the players don't die. And that is how I. No! I let's make sure somebody dies. Okay. Now we know who's the scary DM around the table here. This is what we're learning here. How are they going to know you're serious unless somebody dies?
I mean, that's fair.
Okay, I am very much aware that I overran in the last session, so let's keep moving. We know who they are. We know their personality. We know what they fear. What are their bonds? I feel like this one is maybe answered by their warlock patron.
Yeah.
Do they have a second bond? Maybe they have an apprentice, or they have a child or something. Like, what are your thoughts? Is that something that would bring more interest, more nuance to them?
Oh, the mortality countdown could not be them. It could be someone they care about deeply.
Oh,
and their reason is trying to save them.
Like a ward?
Yeah, like a ward.
Yeah,
Love that.
So either like their lover, or like an apprentice, or maybe a sister.
Or an adopted child even.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Okay, so we're going to add an adopted child here. I'm just very much enjoying...
There's a foundling who's particularly strong with their arcane powers, but it's actually it's bad for their health.
Yes.
Yeah. And I like this very much. So a warlock patron and an arcane able ward. That's what we're adding here. What do they desire? We've really covered that as opposed to the plan. And I feel like with what they fear, we've also covered what they desire. So beyond motivation, do they desire validation or stability or power? I feel like they fear mortality and they fear failure because they desire success. And I feel like they also desire not just power, but the knowledge of power, like the reputation of power. They won't always be as easy, guys, but sometimes you can flip the failure into the desire and vice versa. Sure. You can make them different, and that can add a lot of nuance, but we've already got a very nuanced character here, so sometimes you just want to keep things simple. How do they prefer to solve problems? Up close and personal, or with force, or through political manipulation, or what do we think of this guy?
Oh, they prefer to manipulate.
Yeah, I don't think they're outwardly a threat to anyone at first.
That's part of their defense is to look indefensible.
Yes, absolutely. So they can manipulate others.
Well, he's got a lot of tools to do that because he's rich. Yeah. He's also got access to arcane power.
Yeah.
And then he's also very learned, so he can outthink you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we think he would stoop to blackmail as a manipulation, or do you think that would not be for him?
Indirectly.
Yeah.
In the guise of his alter ego, he would certainly do so. I would also suggest that he's in the mountains. There's a lot of geothermal activity here. This is in fact, and so I've been contemplating the idea of their exports. I think he's a gun merchant.
Ooh, yes.
Ooh, interesting.
I like that.
And maybe that's how he got his nobility in the first instance.
Absolutely, he supported one side in a war and was rewarded, probably not only with the title but these lands as well.
Oh, I'm picturing like this little foppish gnome with like a very fancy cane, but that can be cocked and changed to become a gun, like a little rifle.
Cane pistol. Yes, absolutely. Every day of the week.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And that's actually, again, that's a great metaphor for him because it's the thing that is hidden, right? It's the thing that looks innocuous.
It's always in plain sight and it looks harmless, just like him.
Yeah, it looks like a walking aid and actually it's a death aid. Not to put too fine a point on it. Okay, so we're on to special abilities on the next page, page 5, guys. And folks in the chat, how are you keeping up? Who is your villain so far? I want to know. We've been creating this fascinating monstrosity here. I want to know what you guys have been making. So in terms of physical transformation, I'm going to pop this one in the chat. We already have a gnome on the one hand, and on the other hand, he is this indeterminate creature of shadow. He looks like the Perceiver's worst nightmares. That is one of his special abilities.
Yes, but that's a possession ability.
Yeah,
if I remember right. He takes over someone, and whether they're living or dead.
I feel like there might be two different things because on the one hand, he becomes a creature of shadow that looks like the people's work. So he could become sort of intangible in a way. He becomes a haunt almost.
Well, I like that better. One of the problems I've always had with transformation is just the physical bulk of one to another.
Right.
I like the idea of him going non-corporeal.
Yeah.
So that if he needs to make something big, it's a little bit more
spread out his atoms a bit
spread
more.
out. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So there's a volume quotient that needs to be honored here. Go ahead.
Yes. Right. That also fits with the ghast. I'm picturing some sort of ghastly themed powers here. So we've got I become a shadow creature that looks like whatever your worst nightmare is. We've got the ghostly possession. But what if there's sort of like an area effect of like creeping shadows and mist that he can summon to obscure his activities?
Nice.
I like that. So
what an interesting thing. You could take material that's around you and form it into a form. So sometimes it might be dead leaves that all come together in some monstrous form, or it may be dust. It may be the mists of the water. I mean, the essence that comes together could be any number of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
It also gives you as the DM the fair escape rule for him. So if you've got players have backed him into a corner, now he can summon darkness and disappear to be dealt with later.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's great. That gives us a kind of like, oh, but wait.
Yes.
What if, because he can become basically non-corporeal, he can kind of portal step? Escape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what that does is it gives us two things that are ghosty, and one thing that is really related to the other side.
What about a shadow step sort of thing where he's actually stepping over to the eldritch side? Yes.
Yeah.
So I like that.
It's kind of a shadow step, which with theming to be like a brief pop over to the other side in my non-corporeal form, and then I'm coming back. He can't really reside over there, but he can kind of pass through on his way. like changing in the airport, as it were. On
yeah.
We would need to decide upon a cost for that.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
mean, those types of things there's always a price to be paid for the powers that we have.
Yeah,
so we need to decide eventually what were the costs in that. But yes, I love that.
Yeah, I like the idea that like that corruption that he's hiding under a glove.
Yeah.
Maybe he's also heralding his own doom as well as his wards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They've both got the same magical affliction.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. Okay, I really, really like where this is going. This is the point, folks, where you at home can make a stat block. We're not going to bore you by making a stat block on live stream. I don't think that's very interesting. But what I have done is given you a little bit of advice here. If this is your first stat block, if this is your first villain, I strongly recommend you start with a pre-existing stat block and then tweak it. It will be easier to manage than trying to build something from the ground up. So go and find a villain that is roughly the class or species or level of the thing that you're envisaging, and then tweak things. Swap out spells, swap out abilities. Try and get it as close as you can, and don't sweat the details. You'll be fine. You're running it, so you can also bend the corners if you need to. This isn't a published adventure necessarily. If this is your first adventure, you have a lot of power over the fudgification if you need to. So that's my hot tip on that one if this is your first. And otherwise, make a stat block, guys. You know how it's done. Okay. So that brings us to page 6. The clues your players see. We know what the villain wants to achieve. We know who they are. We know what they fear. We know what they are bonded to. Now we need to figure out how the players, how the sort of external trappings of this thing are going to go down, which is going to eventually become the hooks for the adventure. So what is going to be visible? The examples I have here are the local groups of goblins are riled up and whispering about a dark savior. We don't know who they are. We don't know what's going on, but something's happening. The other example I have is people have been going missing and a strange graffito is left behind in their place.
Ooh.
So what do we think the effects of our villain, our Sir Atherley, are going to be on the space? What's going to be visible for our players?
Oddly enough, both of your examples work really well for our villain.
Yeah, I was just going to say. I definitely like the idea that people have been going missing and that there's strange symbols left in the place.
Interesting. Why would he leave the symbol there?
Maybe it's a mark of whatever he's doing to get them to come with him.
Okay.
There's a little bit of maybe mind control.
That's interesting.
Or is he so manipulative that he doesn't have to resort to mind control? He can talk them into, sort of give them a demonstration of his power and they come along willingly.
What if the ghast leaves behind a trace?
Oh, yeah.
It might even be like weird mist or dark energy or goo. The chat is very keen on goo.
Some ectoplasm in here.
Some ectoplasm or something. And that's the trace that is seen. So every time he manifests as the ghast, there is something that is small that our specialist adventurers will be able to see that maybe the common person can't see. Or some weird magic residue or something.
Yes, it's whenever the ghast appears or is transformed into the ghast, there is a connection to the other side, and the connection to the other side leaks through as this goo.
Nice.
Counter thought. We could do one further. When the ghast appears and they abduct somebody, something leaks through from the other side. So a monster appears. So it may appear at first time when these people aren't being abducted, they're being turned into monsters. So it's not necessarily something very big. It may be the sort of the eldritch equivalent of a very scary cockroach, or some kind of ghast or some kind of thing. But so one of the bits of the adventure will be the players figuring out, they're not being turned into monsters. They're actually being abducted and the monsters are coming in for some reason.
Yes.
Right.
So that could be a fun sort of switcheroo. One of the themes for this is absolutely nothing is as it seems, I feel, for this adventure.
Very nice.
So that could be a nice thing to play with. What are the other traces? What are the other things the villain's going to be doing that are going to leave traces on the world?
Well, a trace is an absence of people, of course, which we've already talked about. I mean, it's not something that appears in the world. It's something that disappears from the world.
Absolutely.
I think there has to be some sort of documents out there for the cult that is against the restrictive town rule against arcane magic. So there might be like a resistance mark that people spray paint or equivalent onto the wall to show, we believe in arcane magic.
Okay, so the arcane cult are graffitiing about town.
Yeah.
In some ways, they might be it might just the arcanists themselves may not be doing so, but those who are wannabe arcanists probably are. Which leads us to a whole other concept of a group, which would be the wannabe arcanists.
I wonder what Atherley might turn those to, how he might use them as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
Might he have promised them something? Maybe for information?
Well, it's interesting that Atherley seems to have it going on both sides.
Yeah.
He's working with the arcanists on one side. He's working with this group on the other side, and he's also kind of manipulating the governors of and the mayors of the surrounding towns to help him out as well. I mean, he's got a pretty sweet setup going on here in terms of making sure that the Eldritch do in fact cross into the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a very smart guy. So he thinks he has all his bases covered until the players come steamrollering in. And that's going to be the fun of this adventure is how can we set it up so they can knock down the pins, but still make Atherley seem smart?
Yes. I have a bit of a world building bit to run by you.
Bring it.
A long time ago, when the arcane and the humans were in the same world, the arcane controlled all of the magic and the humans were powerless and hunted by these great monstrous titans.
Interesting.
And eventually they were able to, very Prometheus-like, steal a little bit of the monster's magic and use it to wield a ward that would keep them safe and put the monsters on the other side of the world. But it's still their world. They are connected to the earth, and the earth has been slowly dying because it's been leached of this vital essence that the monsters provide. And so there are these little leaks coming through, and the stronger the leaks get, the more alive the earth becomes.
Yes.
And the more magic starts waking up in people.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay. So I love everything about this, but I want to add one thing, if that's okay, which is the way that they funneled the Eldritch out is by raising their own gods.
Yes. Oh, I like that.
And that's why
divine magic,
but not arcane magic, because it was funneled through these gods, so it was coming from a different way, and it was controlled by these. We're getting into capitalism now, but it was controlled by the few gods with much power, and they decided the special people who got the power, and that was sort of how it worked. And now magic is becoming much more accessible again, as it kind of leaks in.
Well, now we need to deal with cosmology in this world here.
Oh, yeah.
So suddenly we're making gods, guys. Go ahead,
Perfect.
Do we have eldritch gods? If we have eldritch gods, how do they relate to the mortal gods and on the other side? And are the gods on the eldritch side less tied more to the power of this world, which is very limited kind of cosmology? And are the human gods more interested in direct intervention in the world, or are they kind of a hands-off sort of thing? And here's some power. Go ahead and use that.
Absolutely.
The entire cosmology underlying what's been going on here probably needs to be looked at.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, for a longer adventure. Not just for Atherley, but when we start thinking about the campaign level stuff, because what we've just set up sounds like we might be having a god war at the end of this campaign, and that's really cool. We're not there yet, but this is how starting with big concept and starting with lots of ideas, and then saying, okay, but how does this really work through the lens of an adventurer, through the lens of a villain? That helps you go from this is very big concept to now I need particulars. And this is a really useful process in sort of nailing down from high concept a world that is very unique to something that's also very practical and working. Go ahead, Alina. Sorry.
So jumping back to Atherley. So if he's got this, he's the prophet that can talk to the other side.
Yeah.
He is manipulative and calculating. So maybe he's found a way that he can use the eldritch powers from the other side to actually awaken people's arcane powers. They've been living in a world where the only magic is divine, and he's now giving people who wouldn't have access to magic otherwise a taste of magic, even if it changes them a little bit and puts them more under his control.
Yes, absolutely. And we established this before because we said that there was this strange transformation he was going to put.
Yes, yeah.
So there seem to be more and more magic users every day is actually what we're saying. That's like there seem to be an unusual number of magic users in this app.
Yeah, and monsters.
Yes.
Because if monsters come through whenever these rituals are done to awaken somebody's latent power, now there's monsters running around town, and that's why the town leaders have shut down any use of arcane magic.
It also becomes a question for the church. Why aren't you doing something about this? Why can't you stop this?
Yeah. And in fact, the many churches, because we've already established that this is a space where there are many religions, even worshipping the same gods. And each of those religions does it in a slightly different way and has a slightly different doctrine and set of beliefs. And some of those are quite dark and scary, and some of those are quite light and nice. And it's not always super clear which is which. And I think, okay, so we now have our three sort of symptoms of the villain's plot. We have magic users are being abducted, and strange, or actually people, as far as everybody knows, people are being abducted, and strange eldritch monsters are appearing in their place. The arcane cult are graffitiing about town, the wannabe arcanists, and they're causing trouble. And there seems to be an unusual number of magic users and monsters in this location compared to everybody else. That's what we're seeing when we come here. That might even be why the adventurers came here in the first place, is there's a hell of monsters around here. What's going on? We should go help, / we will be paid to help, / whatever the player's motivation is.
Or if the player is an arcanist, who has the arcane power, they may have come here for other reasons.
Absolutely. Now, the next section, I cannot fill in for you because I do not know your players. But this is the section where players' backstories get in the mix. Players' factions get in the mix. This is the kind of stuff, again, you can't do it for a published adventure because you don't know who's going to be sitting at the table. But what you can do for your own party is you can say, okay, well, what about your players can the villain weaponize against the party? Can they make sure that the arcane user is abducted? Can they reveal that they have this association that's going to get them in trouble? I'm not going to answer this right now. There are lots and lots of ideas that you could use. And again, it depends who your players are in the world, the choices they make on character creation and everything else. But I will say, as you go on with more and more adventures, your players will get more complex and nuanced. And this stuff becomes really fun as a game master. This is the joy of making adventures for your own table as opposed to pulling something off the shelf that is expertly created by somebody. It's this nuance that you get to do yourself. But the big important question on this page, the final one, will the villain show up before the climax? Because I think, I agree with Alina. I think they're gonna. What do we think?
He's there throughout.
Absolutely.
Atherley can be in a room at any time, right? He's not suspicious.
Yeah.
And certainly people will have seen the shadow or the ghast around town. There's rumors.
Yes, we should meet this guy fairly early. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
In both his guises.
Yes, in both guises.
Cool. So that answers that question. And that means we know we need to create scenes where the players are going to somehow interact with this person. And that is interesting. And that's going to help us tomorrow when we're plotting out this adventure. So the big boss fight. We're going on to, whoops, sorry, cat. This is two people pressing the same button at the same time that you're saying. So this is page 7. This is the big arc. We're not plotting out every scene right now. We're going to do that tomorrow as we plot the adventure. But we have a very clear idea of who is this guy? What does he want? How is he trying to achieve it? What's he going to do when the players confront him? And that's really what we're going to talk about now. So I think we already established that the big boss fight, the big showdown, is going to be in the laboratory where there is this half-open tear in the fabric of reality, which sets up the big world conflict absolutely beautifully in our first adventure. Go
big
us.
space. We can have, I'm sorry, just thinking plot-wise, because that's what we do here. We can have Atherley kidnapped and taken deep into the Arcanist laboratory, and we think we're going there to rescue him.
Yeah.
When in fact he's just luring us in.
Absolutely.
To this
and if
trap.
the players don't wait on that, one of their loved ones or something they care about can be taken to this laboratory to draw them in there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this is the point where I would say create an NPC who has come to them, who has said, help, I'm an arcane user. I need your help getting out of this place, and have them kidnapped. And that would be, as a written adventure, that's how I would handle it, because I don't know who the players are going to be, but I can sure as heck make sure there's a very sympathetic NPC who's about to get kidnapped. And that is a very nice way to get them to the end of this, if you need to get players to the final location, is have them traceable, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Both of those, I think, work really well.
Yeah.
I like the idea of kidnapping Atherley. We can stage the whole scene like he's been kidnapped. And everybody in the town would want him rescued because he's the economic foundation of everything that goes on around here. He owns this factory, the munitions place, and so getting him back is actually an imperative for the community, not just necessarily for the players.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know where the final showdown will be. It's going to be in the Guardians laboratory in the cave system that Atherley has basically, that's his modus, that's the space, that's where he's working.
Yes.
What tactics will our villain use in the final showdown? We've talked about the tactics he's using to enact his plan. We've talked about how in general he acts. What is he going to do at the end? So what I've written here is flavor text. Don't just consider battle tactics. Consider whether your villain, or what your villain knows about the party. Will they know the PCs are coming? How can they use all this information to sway the battle? So these are useful.
It's not necessarily a battle in terms of Atherley. This is actually a sacrifice to help open the portal. He is intentionally killing the characters in order to open the portal.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Okay. So you think he's going to use the PCs as kind of the final blood sacrifice or something?
Yes, absolutely. That's the whole purpose of luring them in here.
But I like that. That means that he's been sympathetic because he's been trying to ripen their talents. He needs them to be a certain level of power before he can sacrifice them and open the rift.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's why some people have gone missing and others have come back, is there's a certain power level you need to be useful to him.
Interesting.
So if he comes and like exposes you to the goo and the eldritch other side, some people it just wakes them a little bit, but other people it like fully awakens them.
Yeah.
And then those are the ones he can use for his battery.
I wonder if we might do something interesting here. Oh, we have some...
Oh, that's me. I'm sorry.
Cheerful background noise for our murder.
I know for our murder. Yes, darling. It's my dear wife. Yes, I am. I'm talking about evil villains here, sweetheart.
Please tell her I sent my love.
We were right in the middle of human sacrifice. Yes. Oh, she says it's too bad about this human sacrifice, but she understands.
Such a mess on the carpet.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to give Tracy a little bit
rescuing.
Privacy and just mute him there so he can have his conversation.
Okay.
With regard to the tactics, I have a theory. what if there is a divide between the way that they approach it? So what if there are any magic users in the party, they're going to be dragged to the transformation space. And if there are non-magic users, they're going to be used as sort of blood sacrifice because they're investigating, because they're causing problems, because maybe Athalie is looking at them and going, you guys seem smarter than the average bear. Even if they're dumb, it's fine. PCs will be very happy if they're considered a threat at level 1. So there is actually this sort of dual thing where they'll see both parts. They'll see, they'll be separated, but not too separated, maybe on the other side of the same room. And they'll see these sort of twin fates and they'll put everything together. And that will mean that we have, Arcanus on one side of the room, other people about to be sacrificed, lots of potential for chaos, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just noting this down. And finally, when all is lost, what will they try and do? Hopefully, our PCs are going to turn the tables, at least somewhat. Hopefully, our PCs are going to show some character agency. They're going to try and stop what's going on. We hope, right?
We hope.
So, what is Athalie going to do when it looks like he's going to fail, which, as we know, is one of his big fears?
Oh. Well, excuse me, but villainy is villainy. I mean, after all, I think that his only choice at this point is to sacrifice someone else. And that would be his ward.
Right.
Ooh. He has to choose between the power and his family.
And his bond, yeah.
And his bond. Yeah. And in doing so, breaks him forever.
Right. So this ward is of a special power or resonance to open the portal and can be used to channel it. And he's been hoping he doesn't have to sacrifice them. So he's been kind of raising the PCs.
Yes.
Throwing challenges their way to try and awaken their latent talents so he can sacrifice them instead of the person he loves.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of interesting stuff here. This is all becoming very nuanced and interesting. So he will sacrifice his ward, and then what's going to happen? Because once he sacrifices the ward, the portal's going to open.
Yes,
so
it will.
Is he going to rely on the fact that an eldritch something is going to come out so he can sidestep away?
Yes.
Or is he going to merge with the eldritch being and for a final transformation?
The question is, do we want him to come back or not?
Yeah.
Of course.
Because if we want him to come back, I think he needs to sidestep away.
I think so, yeah.
And what that means is he's gone. There's another monster for the PCs to fight and feel like they've overcome something. They will still need to close this portal somehow. How does that happen in this world?
Well, it's a question of how the portal operates. And, if they've got like a big lever on the wall that says, pull to close portal.
It was a lab, so it wouldn't be insane that they have some kind of matrix around, like a Stargate almost, or something.
It could be, and there may be another way for them to close it. Although I'm not sure that we really want to close it. I think that failure is an option.
Interesting.
This is just a rent that the monsters can come through now.
And this is just a rent that the monsters can come through now. That then becomes a local problem of how to seal the area off and try to contain it the way it is. But I think that the sacrifice has to have meaning.
Yeah.
And the meaning is that in fact he does achieve what Athalie achieves what it is he was attempting to do, but the cost was too great.
Yeah. So it's a Pyrrhic victory for him.
Yeah.
It is a Pyrrhic victory for him, and ultimately it becomes the thing that breaks him. It's the idea that he has to constantly now justify for himself the sacrifice.
And now when they encounter him in later levels, he's twisted and evil because the grief has consumed him.
Him. Yeah,
and he's lost the ability to be Athalie the fop. That personality is gone now, I think.
He's just the Ghast.
He's just the Ghast. It's all that's left of him is the Ghast, because the Ghast is what justifies the loss of his ward.
Yes.
Now, this is a really fun adventure that I now want to run. Guys, I want to know what you have been making. What is the name of your villain and what is their evil plan? This is what I'm curious about, because I really, really want to know how you've the gas, just the gas, says Drunken Panda. I want to know how you've taken this template and made something completely different, because that's the point of this. They're all pieces. They're levers you can pull and things you can make and choices you can make, but the end result will be completely different depending on the world you make, depending on the villain you've made. So yeah, I'm really curious about this. And what kind of treasure do we think we're going to give to Athalie? Like, how are we going to reward the players at the end of this? Apart, like, knowledge, obviously world knowledge is going to be a big part of this adventure. There is a grand mystery they are only just starting to unfurl. Do we think they will find something of the Guardians in this laboratory? And what would we like them to find? What would be interesting?
Yeah, I think there's a potential for all kinds of magical MacGuffins here. It's a place of the Guardians from the elves of ancient times. There should be all kinds of very interesting things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And possibly there may be knowledge in here that will help the community contain this problem.
I like that.
Yeah,
so that might
be on a personal level. Like if one of the PCs has gotten corrupted by this goo, say, and they've now got some magical symbols starting to corrupt their flesh, maybe there's like a bracelet that can help, lengthen the amount of time that they have, delay the process.
A lovely idea actually would be that they discover a cure for this.
Yeah.
Right. That would in fact help separate the victims from this transformation that is taking place. That in fact it could solve Athalie's problem in terms of this corruption that seems to be taking over both himself and his ward. But he doesn't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that
say we can help you, we can fix this for you, but he doesn't believe it.
Yeah. The other thing that you could do is you could make a mention of a cure, but the cure is in another castle, right? So it's they were researching a cure in that laboratory over there, and it's roughly in this space. Of course, the terrain has changed a lot since the ancients, and that will send your players off on another adventure
on the next arc. Yeah,
exactly. Especially if one of the party is infected or whatever. So you then send them off on a side quest, which is deeply related. And once they have that cure, they can try and use it as a bargaining with the Ghast, and we can see what happens there. So what you're doing now is you're taking one adventure and you're building it and you're building it and you're building it into what now looks like a campaign, all from these few seeds.
Yeah. We've also set up an area where it can kind of branch into the same areas. So let's say they've learned that it's actually better if they keep the gate open, but maybe they're PCs. Maybe they decide they want it closed. So they can close the gate, but if Athalie gets away, there can be the chance for another rift somewhere in the world. Whereas if they keep it open, now they have to justify to the townsfolk why they now live near an open portal to hell, essentially.
Yes, absolutely. Or, help them defend it or whatever.
Yeah.
This is a whole new frontier, as it were.
There's also another possibility, which is more on the Deus Ex Machina side, which is we live in an earthquake zone.
Yes.
So it's possible that we could utilize natural forces or even some of the local geothermic forces to force it to close.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are the kinds of things that you can start thinking about and start setting up, and maybe they don't know how to close it immediately, but maybe they will find out. Again, you've given them a laboratory, you've given them a way to find things out. One of the things that I think is really fun to steal from the writing world, again, I'm a fiction writer as well as an RPG writer. Tracy is also a fiction writer as well as an RPG writer. And Alina is also a fiction writer as an RPG writer. There's a lot of us, guys. And one of the things that you can use is reaction scenes. So it's really nice at the beginning of the next adventure to have a little reaction scene where you're like, so that happened, beyond the epilogue, where you kind of, you do the epilogue, you show how the world has changed. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, and you guys have probably already downloaded the adventure template, where you show the immediate effects, you show some of the more long-term effects. But having an emotional reaction beat where the players go, oh crap, what does this really mean for us, is a really, really powerful thing. And starting the next adventure with, so all of this stuff went down, what's now important to your characters? What are they thinking? What are they feeling? Is a great way to start kind of calibrating where you're going to go next with the adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a look at the chat, because we have some pretty fun things. If my players aren't watching this, Dauphin Gamarant, the ancient dragon turtle, is one of our villains that's been created. Ardhaven, whose goal is to end his own bloodline. Love it. Very morbid. I'm here for it. We have Primus Imperiatus, who is an imperial heir using blood magic to corrupt a sleeping god through ritual magic. Yes, every day of the week. Okay. My villain wants to begin a war with the elder gods. Huh, okay. Here we call that Tuesday. So it sounds like you guys have made some pretty wild things. Now, in my absolute excitement to get started, I did not introduce my guests properly, so I am going to introduce them now, so that you can learn a little bit more about them and where you can find them on the internet. So Alina Pete is a Nihio Cree artist and writer from Little Pine First Nation in Western Saskatchewan. I beg your pardon. They are a multidisciplinary creator, and they work in comics and animation and VFX and VR. You do all of the things, Alina.
Yeah, probably too many.
All of the things.
I have a lot of hats.
You will find their website in the chat right here, where you can go and check out everything they've done. They have won many awards, including the 2023 Imagining Indigenous Futurism Award, and have been included in comics anthologies and have basically done fantastic things. So please, please do go check Alina out. And of course, we have the fabulous New York Times bestselling fantasy and science fiction novelist Tracy Hickman, who is also a game designer, who wrote the Dragonlance novels with Margaret Weiss, who also wrote role-playing game material while working for TSR, and has co-written novels with his wonderful, gorgeous, fantastic wife, who had a little cameo on our live stream today, Laura Hickman, and is also the author and co-author of over 60 books, which is really freaking impressive.
And I also worked in VR.
Also worked in VR. Okay, so we have all the cool kids and their VR. This is where you can find Tracy over at Epic Travel Crew, where you've been doing running D&D adventures on cruises, I believe.
Yes,
Tracy.
That's right. We've been doing D&D adventures on cruises. In fact, we do a vampire cruise where which features a special written, newly written Ravenloft adventure.
Nice. Very nice.
So please join us. We have an awful lot of fun. So
these are my fantastic guests. I'm sorry I didn't introduce you at the beginning. I was slightly discombobulated by the time. But what would you, with all your expertise, do next with this villain? My chat tomorrow, we're going to be writing adventure. We're going to be plotting it out. Then we're going to be plotting a dungeon. What would you guys do as, consummate and experienced professionals in the space? How would you take this forward? Alina, what are your thoughts?
Well, clearly after he runs away, he's going to regroup. He is committed, deeply committed to getting these forces back over from the other side. He's got one portal open now, but that's not enough for him. It'll never be enough until the worlds have rebalanced. So he's going to go somewhere and start another rift, I think.
Amazing. Okay, I love this. Tracy, what are your thoughts on this one?
I think he does exactly that, and I think ultimately he raises his own religious city-state, where he establishes a place built on arcane magic, and the idea that they are going back to old time religion in this place, that they are in fact going to make Eldritch great again, for lack of a better phrase.
Yep. It's also got a mad preacher aspect. Now he's driven mad by grief, and he's going to go raise a cult.
Yes. He's going to go raise a cult, and it's going to be all about, for him, it's all about giving meaning to this sacrifice that isn't there. It's a meaning that he has manufactured for himself. And
maybe you could even bring back the ward as the new god of this cult. But is it really the ward, or is it something?
Or is it something else?
As them?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I love everything about this. And if you at home are wondering what to do next, well, you can dig deeper into your world with our free world building course. It's 10 lessons. It will help you flesh out many different things in your world and start getting to grips as we have been doing today. You can go use World Anvil. Tracy uses World Anvil. I use World Anvil. It can be very helpful.
I use World Anvil for almost every project that I do. I've used World Anvil for collaborations with companies across the globe. It's a wonderful environment for collaboration. I use World Anvil whenever I start a new project. And my number of projects, in fact, on World Anvil equals the number of explorations that I have creatively. It is the best place I have found for organizing and concept work for world and new universe creation.
Well, thank you. It's always so heartwarming to hear that. You know, we've poured so much love and so much into World Anvil. So I'm always so glad to hear it's helping people create things, because we need more things created. We need more creativity in the world. And we do things like this to try and share and inspire you guys. So and of course, if you would like to get started with World Anvil, we have linked our Get Started course. There's a video version, there's a text version that will help you get started with the software. And we've linked some extra materials as well that will hopefully get you thinking about different things villain, different things plot, different things character. And in fact, this last one is a little Easter egg. It's an unlisted video from last year's World Building Con, where Tracy Hickman, who's he, and Ed Greenwood, and Gail Carragher, and Celeste Konowich talk about characters who change the world building, characters who literally have so much power and agency that they change the way the world works, which can be very useful when you are dealing with all-powerful villains. So I have added it to this as a little bonus nugget that you can go and check out as well. I would like to, before we go to our next section, which is launching a brand new challenge, which I think is deeply, deeply relevant to what we've been talking about. I want to thank very, very dearly Tracy and Alina. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you,
thanks for having us.
Alina, it's been a delight getting to work with you here today.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been amazing learning from you.
It's such a treat to get to bring on amazing creative people and then nerd out about creativity with them, is all I can say. And folks, you have both been completely glorious, and thank you. I'm going to say goodbye now, so thank you so much. And I'm going to pop you down. And I'm going to bring up my last guest of the evening. It's Kat. So a lot of you will know Kat because Kat is my ace content strategist. She and I work together very, very closely on the YouTube channel. We work together very closely on these templates that you've seen today. She has been reining me in and keeping me organized, for which I can never thank her enough. And now we're going to release the next challenge for World Anvil, which is a showdown challenge. So I promised you guys that there would be another showdown challenge this year. And folks, even if you don't know what a World Anvil challenge is, you are going to love this one. And let me tell you why. It is deeply, deeply on topic. And let's see if I can do the thing. Because
guys, if you love the elves versus aliens one, like, you're gonna love this. It's so good. It's chef's kiss, guys.
This is what we're doing, guys. It's heroes versus villains. All right, so let me see if I can share the, I've had a big issue suddenly was sharing things because StreamYard has made choices that I don't like very much. But I'm going to try and share, and if I can't share, I'm going to ask Kat to share.
Okay, I need to know is the I haven't turned it on yet because I need to know it has to be a Euclid world, and I don't know.
Yes, I got it.
Okay,
Can
cool.
you see that? Is it up? It's up.
Okay, I'm removing this.
Chaos. Okay. There's chaos, guys. That's how you know it's a World Anvil stream. And
why is it okay?
Please show.
I'm so confused.
Escape show.
There
we go. I got it to go.
Okay, cool. Yay. Okay. I was like,
number one of show business, guys. Make
it
it look easy. So this is our Heroes versus Villains challenge. It will be going live in just a couple of minutes when I click the button. But I wanted to walk you through it first. So essentially, this is a showdown challenge. What does that mean? That means there is Team Hero and Team Villain. And just so you see this, the amazing Rock who's put the page together. If you mouse over this, you'll see the winner badge for the heroes. And if you mouse over this, you'll see the winner badge for the villains, because one of these teams is going to win and one of these teams is not. So I encourage you all, create your villain on World Anvil and submit them for Team Villain. Or if you'd rather do Team Hero, create a hero for your world and submit them for Team Hero. This is, it's going to be a blast. Kat, talk to us about the rules. What are we supposed to do for this?
Okay, so everyone asks this. You can only submit to one team. Like, you have to pick a team, guys. I know that heroes and villains are both very, very compelling, but you have to pick one team and one team only. To join Team Heroes, you will create you use the character template to create a hero, and you will write to the prompt and you will submit it here on the page, or you will use the character template to create a villainous character and submit it to the prompt here. And with a little bit of magic, you should not be able to, like, this last time when we did this with elves and villains, people complained that, like, it was a little too obvious who was going to win. So Rock did some CSS magic. So you should not, unless you go looking in the code, don't go looking in the code. Don't go look in the code. No spoilers. But you should not be able to see in advance who's winning at any given time. So, like, let's see who wins. Will it be the heroes? Will it be the villains? It's hard to say.
I'm so curious. And folks, this challenge page is now live, so you can go and take part. You can go and see it. You can go and read it. You can go and create a villain worthy of the name and submit them so that we could move the bar, basically. And that, in a nutshell, is it. Of course, you will get one of these beautiful badges on your profile, on your World Anvil profile. You'll either get a participant badge if your side doesn't win, or you will get the winner badge if your side does win. Either way, you will definitely get a badge. It's a fun way to take part in a challenge. It's a fun way to challenge you to polish up your villain for something. There's nothing like a deadline to get you to polish something up. At least that is true for me. And it also gives you a chance to read through so many different takes on villains and heroes. And that is so inspiring. That's the other reason that we run challenges like this. We run one roughly once a month, once every 2 months, because seeing how different people respond to a world building prompt is so educational for upping your world building. It's so educational for understanding the way different people think. It's it's a gift as a creative. So that is why we run these challenges as well. It's it's a good bit of fun, and you can win a badge and you can take part. How do we choose? What are your thoughts, Kat?
I think that just for the sake of this competition, I'm a hero gal most of the time, but I think just because we're in the middle of World Building Con, we just created the really, like, spectacular, like, evil Zorro Batman with a Robin who's cursed. Like, I feel like I'm super inspired, and I think I really probably will go Team Villain this particular time, but...
I mean, we did just give you a very good villain template, so I'm hoping you're going to pull that all into a character template on World Anvil and create something truly compelling. Then tomorrow, Kat, what are we doing tomorrow? The adventure continues, right?
Yes, we will be having our first session where we plot with the amazing Andy Law and Cuddy Pondsmith from our Tell Story and Gaze, who are going to be coming up with the plot, giving us the bones and the skeleton of our adventure, and figuring out how we can throw some encounters at our heroes after they uncover the first little inklings of our villains' dastardly doings. And then after that, we are going deep, deep down into the dungeon with Wolfgang Bauer and Amanda Heyman, those amazing experts in legends in the TTRPG space, who are going to like help us build that climactic final battle in the dungeon. So I know we've got a laboratory. What do they have to go through to get to the laboratory? The laboratory's one room. Where are we going to? We shall find out.
Also, this guy is a nobleman and he has a gun factory. So I'm thinking we're going to have a lot of fun with these mooks even before we get to Eldritch mooks, right? Like there's a lot of options here.
Yeah, like Eldritch horror, cosmic horror in a munitions factory sounds like a real good time or a real bad time for everybody involved. So yes. Yeah, should be cool.
And if you are not going to tune in tomorrow, then you can fill out this form now. And if you are going to tune in tomorrow, welcome back. We hope you do. Then you can wait until tomorrow, but don't forget to fill out our feedback form. Do you know why? Because we love to do better. We always want to do better than the time before. And your feedback will help us do exactly that. So please, please, please give us feedback. And in exchange, we're going to enter you into a giveaway if you would like to be. It's opt-in. You could choose not to. For either a World Anvil membership for a year or the Cobalt Guide to Game Design, which is my personal favorite game design book that I have ever read. This is not sponsored. I just love the book and wanted to make sure that you guys had a chance to get it. It's fantastic. Can't recommend it enough. Bellanacht asks, can we watch these sessions later? Yes, these sessions will be available for about a month, as they are pretty much. In as much as YouTube lets us leave things up and chop things, we will try to chop off beginnings and ends, but we'll leave them up as they are. So you'll have about a month to watch these, to come back, to get more inspiration and everything else. And the templates will be around as well for a month. So you'll be able to grab those if you missed them before. And you'll be able to, it would be very kind if you did, refer friends if you found this useful. You can give them the links to the VOD, send them to that link where they can download the templates, and yeah, make sure that they also get value from this, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be helpful. We're trying to give you stuff that will help you, take the next steps on your creative journey, on your GMing journey. And I saw so many of you, and thank you so much, telling me that the templates were useful. I think having experts here giving you that next level world building feedback, the next level villain feedback, the insight into the professional creative choices, for me, that was really the icing on the cake today. So I hope that you enjoyed it as well. And I hope that you join us tomorrow for the adventure and the dungeon, where we're going to get into the real nitty gritty and the real practical choices of what our players are going to face, how we are going to stretch and test them while still giving them a chance to beat our terrifying villain. Because let's face it, I wouldn't want to face up against Athalie. He's kind of terrifying, right, Kat?
Absolutely. Both versions of him is kind of weirdly terrifying. So yes.
Yeah, he is way too smart and way too well funded, if you know what I mean. So this is going to be a fun villain, to give the players tools to pull down, essentially. Of course, I want to say a massive thank you to Kat and to Secondhand Samurai, who have both been here the entire 4 hours behind the scenes, sharing links, highlighting comments, making sure that you guys were seen and heard, you had everything you needed, and also helping me out as well. A massive thank you, of course, to my guests. That's Michael, the Dead Aussie Gamer, Peter Tchaikovsky, Tracy Hickman, and Alina Pete. All, I hope you will agree, absolutely stellar guests. We have been so lucky. So if you want more of them, do go follow them in the places. They really are all fabulous people and truly original, wonderful creators, as I think is testified by the originality of this setting and villain that we've managed to create here today. And I will see you tomorrow. We'll be kicking off at the same time, right, Kat?
Yes. Same time, same station. But same a different stream link on YouTube. So the easiest way to remember it is if you go to youtube.com/worldanvil/streams, all of our live streams will be there. So if you're like, oh no, I lost the exact link, it's fine. Just go to our YouTube channel and go to the live tab. We'll be there waiting for you with bells on. Yes, and also our Twitch channel is twitch.tv/worldanvil. We'll be back here again tomorrow if Twitch is your preferred platform. Wow.
Yeah, that was absolutely what I was expecting. You did so good. You did so good. Folks, I will ask you one more favor if I could. If you are over on YouTube, if you could hit that subscribe button, it would really, really help us. We release videos every single week. They've recently started doing pretty well, which is incredibly exciting for us, but we would love your support. It's full of game master tips. It's full of world building tips to really help you get your campaign to the next level, and a good mix of kind of practical things, world building theory, lots of fun stuff to play with. Kat,
just this last week, we finally got to 50,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. We had a little celebration in our team. It was very exciting. So, and we put a lot of work and a lot of love. Janet, me, our excellent video editor, Cecilia, everybody contributes ideas and polish to them to get them so that like we cram a lot of value into a little bitty video. So
yeah, we absolutely do. And again, I'm doing this as a job. So I swear I know what I'm doing. Well, my beautiful beans, that must be all for today. So feel free to continue in the chat. We're going to leave the stream up for a little bit. If you guys want to share what you've been creating with each other, if you want to chat with each other, absolutely go for it. And I cannot wait for tomorrow when we are going to get into the nitty-gritty of adventures and dungeons. My beautiful beans, have a fabulous day. I will talk to you soon. Grab your hammer and go world build. Mwah! See you soon.